We'll move on to our agenda speakers. Again, would you come to the podium on our right?
Board members, tonight you will hear a recommendation from the Audit Committee regarding the request for an investigation of the superintendent. Before you make that decision, I would like to remind you that there are other options available to you regarding who performs the investigation. School Board Policy 3.31, that's what's been handed out to you all. Grievance procedures for employees, number 6, section C, numeral 5. Although these grievance procedures are for employees, it is the only school board policy that directly references investigations of the superintendent and therefore should be used as a guide. Portions of numeral 1 through 4 have already taken place and our complaint merits a formal investigation. Unfortunately, the Audit Committee intends to limit the documents provided for the investigation. In turn, you will receive a report based on only these documents. An investigation based on a limited scope only suggests that the district is once again avoiding the truth. It is important that those investigating have access to all necessary documents needed in order to provide the most thorough and accurate report.
I've given each of you a copy of my vehicle mileage breakdown for the former CAO's vehicle, covering July of '09 through May 7th of 2010. I've not been able to locate any vehicle mileage information after May 7th, almost 2 months before his resignation. I hope they are self-explanatory, but I will gladly answer any questions necessary. In an attempt to limit the scope of the investigation of the superintendent, the Audit Committee decided vehicle records would be used only for supporting evidence. I would like to ask the board to return the vehicle information to the scope and allow the external auditor to decide its usefulness.
Quickly to the TDEs, it's impossible to cover these documents in detail in such a short time, so I've prepared the handout to list all of the alterations, forgeries, falsifications, and fabrications included in the 13 documents provided by the superintendent's office. I have referenced them with numbers for identification purposes, beginning with number 13. Mrs. Bonatti admitted to me that she and another member of the superintendent's staff created TDE 13 by whiting out the information on TDE number 7 and retyping it to produce a falsified document that was then sent out to several people in answer to our public records request. TDE number 12 was faxed to the superintendent's office on July 1st, but Johnson's signature was backdated to June 30. TDE number 11, with a forged Hernandez signature, is also dated June 30, suggesting that it too was created on July 1st. By the superintendent's staff in the superintendent's office. Note the department code of 9001 on TDE number 11. Clearly, the audit chair, Cindy Adair, did not review these TDEs enough to understand that, by my count, just in these documents, there are more than 20 violations of district policy and at least 8 violations of state statutes. While it does seem that Mr. Hernandez was like a bad house guest who overstayed his welcome, in reality, he was an employee stealing our tax dollars, and the deletion of these records just adds to the smell coming from Art Johnson's office. In conclusion, after reviewing hundreds of documents and months of effort, we can find little evidence that shows Mr. Hernandez worked very much in April or any days in May and June. Thank you.
First is the general concern that the Audit Committee may be recommending a scope of the external audit that is limited to evidence of financial issues. I urge this board to not forget the compliance and internal control issues presented by the evidence. There is so much more to the evidence than the dollars lost. Of course, those dollars lost are attributable to the lack of compliance and oversight by the senior manager, i.e. the superintendent. My second concern is the easy manner of the Audit Committee in dismissing the deletion of the former CAO's access control records, particularly the arrival and departure data from the former CAO's key card swipes, or lack thereof. Whether those records are to be kept for 30 days or 1 year following the termination of the former CAO is almost irrelevant, as they were deleted the day after his last day as an employee. They were deleted against policy. Why is our district deleting records? My third concern involves the cell phone records of the superintendent's immediate subordinate. Month after month, the bill shows his employee was call forwarding his calls to his own personal cell phone. We can't see who he's calling or who is calling him.
It's time to put on the gloves and clean out those dust bunnies and scrub the tile like I should have been. And so, I encourage you, school board, to get out your gloves and scrub brushes and do a bit of house cleaning. It's time, board. It's time. It's been far too many years since your house had a good scrubbing. Please, board, join the ethics committee and do the right thing. Please, board, do some auditing around your house. Please do not limit your audits to only the bits of information that were brought up by the parents that you just heard from. Broaden the audits to what a professional auditor would do. Allow an auditor to do a thorough job. If they find nothing, then you've done your job. If they find dust bunnies, then you have the satisfaction of knowing that you've done a good house cleaning.
So keep in mind, one of your assets are your employees also. Matter of fact, that might rate right under the kids, because without your employees, what would your kids do? They'd have no one to teach them. We would be in the dark right now. Probably be hot. Wouldn't have any air. I wouldn't have a clock staring me in the face. So these things you need to thank your employees for. Not a consultant's going to charge you $100,000 to say, yeah, that's bad stuff you got there. You need to clean your mess up.
But it would be a good idea to check into some of the files of people that were let go from the district and see if those files match what they actually put in. If you know anyone who was released from the district and has a file, I suggest that you speak with them, get a hold of their file, and see if it matches.
On behalf of the Florida Charter Foundation, we wanted to commend the charter school office of the Palm Beach County School District. And I just wanted to commend not only the process that they've created, and it is an arduous process, and it's a challenging process, but as it should be. And it's conducted with tremendous professionalism, a high degree of communication and advocacy for the applicants to make sure that those applicants seeking to develop charter schools and bring charter choice to parents in Palm Beach County really are given the best chance for success and are delivering great schools for these students. So